and that should maybe solve the problem.
I can hear you now. Whatever you
Oh
got.
my gosh. It's so nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
I saw your goals. So you and Sir Nikola Tesla are going to have a conversation. That's the goal today.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So why don't you tell me what attracted you to book this session? Like where are you at with all this? Because we have a lot of good time. I get to do energy for you. We get to talk and you're going to learn some stuff.
Yeah. There's like, I don't quite understand much of anything.
Okay.
So
that's
I
a good
could try
way
to explain it. It's not to say that I'm right or but there's periods where, you know, I hear a lot of voices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that has me curious what that is. You know, I'm not sure if they're the voices of like my mind or ego or if it's something else. So I think I signed up for like the mentoring class. You know, ideally I like to be able to sort through that and be able to do this on my own going forward if, you know, I kind of have that gift.
Right.
But what prompted me, and I've been quite excited for this call with you. When I first listened, and I don't know why I was like listening to Nikola Tesla. I kind of feel like I'm a scientist at heart. I sold my business a couple of years ago. So financially, I don't have, you know, as much of that stress, and I'm just kind of floating around purposely, you know, without purpose lately, trying to land on something. And you know, what excites me is to kind of make a difference, to be impactful in a grand way.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, kind of continue the legacy of maybe what Nikola Tesla started, but you know, like I don't have the tools or the wisdom, you know, right now to do that. So I stumbled across a YouTube video of you channeling Nikola Tesla, and it just triggered a lot of emotions in me. You know, just was crying the whole time, and then you know, for the next like couple weeks, you know, just really couldn't get out of my mind. You know, and then just it just triggers a lot of emotions. You know, the thought of connecting with Nikola Tesla.
I'm absorbing all this in, and my whole system is like so excited for what we're going to discover today. It's going to be awesome. You're going to be a whole new person.
What's that?
You're going to feel like a whole new person. Swear to God, we're going to get to the bottom of this, what you're receiving with this. You're receiving messages, voices in the head type of experience. So we'll take a look at that. And then, so when I do journeys, like my goal here with journeying is 100% to get the head out of the picture, because when I receive something from beyond, I don't want my ego telling me what it is. I don't want that. I want my soul to tell me. So when I do a journey, which you're going to get to do today too, it's like allowing things to just reveal themselves through your imagination. And then you get to have a relationship with what that is, whatever is revealed. And then you feel it. You feel a connection with it. You feel a relationship with it. And you can interpret it through that. You can tell what is afraid to reveal itself and what is so happy to reveal itself. You can feel that. And so that's how the mind gets out of the picture, and you start to understand something else. And it's like a soul connection thing. You're going to do really good at it. And so I'm just like, everything is happening here. So whenever I do a first psychic mentoring session, it's like this get to know you process. And so you get to talk to me and I'm like receiving happening. Then I got to collect myself. So I always call this like, we're going to freestyle it today. We're going to figure this out and it's all going to somehow come together. But I want to tell you, you will get to talk to Nikola Tesla. Like it's going to happen. And I know it's going to happen because the intention is there. The spirit within you, your heart is there. And so just the basic journey techniques, you're already going to say, Sir Nikola Tesla, I really would like to receive a message from you. I'd really like that. And then bam, the first things that come are actually his inspiration. And we don't have to judge what is he trying to say or what is it. We just go into the journey experience like we're going inside of a book. And then we become a character in that book, and then it will all start to be interpreted. Okay. It sounds like a lot probably, but it's going to happen. So what are you thinking right now? Tell me.
Just really trying to receive whatever words that you're saying, but wanting to be said is, after the experience, that I mentioned, I was in a period when, I could hear the voices, and I was kind of like, or in my mind, whatever it is. And, I was having conversations with Nikola Tesla, possibly, and I could have the conversations, but then it's almost like I'm from, like I could hear him as long as like the answers can make sense. But if it was something that like took creativity, like something that was out of my wheelhouse,
yeah.
Then I wasn't able to receive it. I wasn't able to process it or whatever.
That's just it. Like for me to try to figure out what Nikola Tesla, like tell me some brilliant math equations and solutions for free energy. And it's like, I don't know. So I have to work with basic building blocks, and hopefully that material can be taken by some genius and be like, you know what, that was actually what I needed to hear. That was what I was looking for. I know exactly what he's saying. And it's like, yes, so we work with what we already know. And that is there's power in that. You're going, and you'd be surprised what you already know can introduce you to some new way of perceiving things that you're like, wow, I never thought of it that way. I'll tell you something really cool that Joe and I had recently. This was with Kuan Yin. Okay. She was coming to visit us. This was like last month. And she showed us, Joe was journeying to her, and there was a black hole, and he went through a black hole, and on the other side of the black hole was a star. And it just gives you the idea that what if a black hole in our universe, on the other side of it, where it's sucking in all this energy, is feeding the star of itself on the other side of this universe, is another universe where it is a star. It's just like things that you never think about, that was so simple, but it's like there might be something to that, Yeah.
I'm getting out my notebook.
Oh, good. Very good. Okay, so let me just kind of chill out for a minute, and I'm gonna like get some guidance from my guides on how do we make this happen today? How do we make this like the whole well-rounded, awesome experience for Eric? So let me see. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some practical stuff. So I'm gonna just give you some, since you're getting your notebook out. I'm gonna introduce you to how you're going to get into the journey state when it's your turn to do that, so that you can have that experience with Nikola Tesla. This is really easy. It's really easy. Anybody can do this. I swear it's our most innate human ability, because it's so tapped into our inner child, our imagination. And so when it comes your time, Eric, so before that, I'm going to do some energy healing for you. We'll learn some things. Okay. You're going to you can have your eyes closed or eyes open. It's entirely up to you what you want to do when I'm journeying for you. And then after I do that, we're going to transition into you trying out a journey, and you're going to be able to do it. Anybody can do this, even people who insist their third eye is completely closed, they can't see anything, people who are afraid they're blocked, people who like they can do this because it works with creativity. Everybody has creativity. Even from darkness, we can see. And so to get into a journey state, you're going to just be yourself. Okay. Close your eyes. And the intention is there. We always start with an intention. So the intention is, I, Eric, I would really like Nikola Tesla. I'd really like to talk to you today. And I would really love to just receive a message from you that would just warm my heart so much. And that's a really good intention right there. And so we've already stated it. We're already prepared for that. And now we're going to work through however it comes. Okay. We can start with something familiar to you because we need to activate that creative part. We can start with like a beach scene or a mountain scene or a farm field or an apple orchard. or a bunch of trees in the forest, because we're familiar with these things, right? So if I were to just experience, I don't want to use the word imagination here, I want to use the words experience. I want to experience myself on the beach. I guarantee anybody could be suddenly in their own beach experience. Like, what's the color of my sand? What's the color of your sand? What's the color of my water? And your water is going to be different because our experiences are going to be different. But we're going to tune in. We're going to start with something familiar. And then you're just going to get to know that familiar space. Like, okay, I'm standing here on the beach, and you're going to find yourself guided. Like, either I'm feeling the sand under my toes, I feel drawn to the ocean. I'm just going to pause for a minute here, just kind of look around. Wow, it's very gray, or wow, it's really bright and sunny. You know, so you're going to start to interpret how your experience is revealing itself to you, because your mind isn't just coming up with these details like a computer, like, okay, well, it's a beach scene, so I've got to think of sand. Okay, let me think of every tiny little bajillion pieces of sand. No, it just appears there. Bam, you've got a bajillion pieces of sand, and it's the color that some part of yourself decided it was going to be. You didn't think it there, it just appeared there, right? And so now you're in this beach experience. This is entirely connected to a spirit realm and astral plane. People would say, well, that's just your imagination. Oh my God, it's so much more, because you'll feel the spirit of yourself there, and you'll feel moved by it. Just to do this alone, you'll feel moved by it. Now, again, the intention is Nikola Tesla guide us. So here's a familiar place, right? You could do mountains, you could do a forest. Again, it's what you want to do. So to get into a journey state, either A, you start with something familiar, or B, you just see what comes to you. So you can literally, when I read client goals, like here, I like, okay, Eric, he wants to talk to Sir Nikola Tesla today. Let's say I was just doing a journey here, and I wasn't doing psychic mentoring, teaching and this stuff. I literally would just chill out. And then the first thing that comes to me, okay, like literally it might be a splurge. Like, I don't know what it is. I can't interpret it because it looks like a blurry mess. So it's like, okay, I'm seeing a weird white sphere, and now it's starting to appear, starting to make more sense. When I start to describe it as best as I know how to describe it, it actually reveals more and more and more of itself to me. The next thing you know, I'm talking about all kinds of stuff. The way this makes me feel, the way that I'm struggling with interpreting, all this is a message. All this is part of the information that I'm guided to experience and then share with a client, for instance. So you could start with just see what comes. It doesn't matter what the beginning point is, because we're connected with all. And Nikola Tesla, it's just getting you through the initial door and getting you to experience this. You and your imagination is basically what it's going to be like, but it's going to guide you. And Nikola Tesla is the guide. Okay, so is he going to guide you to learn some crazy scientific stuff, or is he going to guide you to understand yourself? Is he going to guide you to something that we don't know yet, how he wants to impact your life today, and what he's going to understand about you already, that he's going to know what's going to be really meaningful. Because the coolest thing about connecting with awesome spirits is that they're like, yes, there's like, yes, a connection, you know? And so they want to impact us, like they want to help us, they want to make that meaningful connection. And so they're gonna just know what our needs are, and they're gonna know, and it's like this connected thing. We're on earth, and they kind of have a bigger picture, and that just it's awesome for them as it's awesome for us. It's really a great exchange. So that's the information to tell you first. So when it comes your time to try to do a journey, then you just start with something familiar, or you just let it come to you. But the whole experience, Nikola Tesla is guiding. Okay. All right. So I've told you all that stuff. Do you have any questions for starters? Like, because I'm going to do some healing for you.
I don't have any questions necessarily, but if I could air a concern.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's probably a good thing to do, but this is really helpful for me, the way you explained it. And, like my memory doesn't work. I have 3 daughters. I don't remember their birth. I just, they're just,
Ah,
I just don't remember things.
I see.
Um, and I don't know if that's tied into my ability to imagine.
Mm,
The thought of like going to a spot, where I've experienced joy is
yeah,
a real challenge for me.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm. Man, you are opening up so much. No wonder it was such an emotional experience with Nikola Tesla. It's like, man, we're gonna break that down. You're gonna feel so alive. Thank you. Oh God, you're awesome. Thank you for sharing that with me. I can tell that really it affects you, that you're gonna be able to use your imagination. It's gonna be wonderful. All right. It's time for you to experience some healing now, okay? All right. And then it's going to be your turn to journey. When you get in that journey state, you have it's completely open for you to say, hey, Abby, all right, no, you said something familiar. And it doesn't have to be even a beach that you remember. It could just be a beach. We know they have oceans, we know they have sand. And then we just let yourself, something of yourself to appear it and allow it to appear to you. And then you just be a part of it. So, but I want you to know that if you don't see anything at all, like it's like, okay, Abby, nothing's happening. Okay, then tell me that. And then I'll work with my guides and we'll find a way to help you have the experience. Okay. It's going to work.
I would, so if I'm communicating with Nikola Tesla, are you part of those conversations? Are you,
Absolutely. Like
so
I'm
you're
gonna,
like, so if he says something, do you hear it as well, or do I only hear it?
oh yeah. Okay. So only you are going to hear it. But what
See,
I'm
that's
going
where it's like, that's where I struggle maybe, where it's like, I just want like,
Mhm.
maybe like confirmation that I'm not crazy or like, or
Of course. I've got confirmation. I'm not crazy. Like I have to own it because this is legit what's going on for me, So you can own it that this is legit what's going on for
and then
you.
maybe another word besides crazy is like
Yeah.
confirmation, like,
Okay.
I want to feel seen or, like,
Oh.
I want to be validated.
So one thing that when you're in the journey state, my eyes are closed and I'm going to be working with my sensory skills to feel what's going on for you. And I'll have my own interpretation of how I'm feeling and experiencing it in order for us to move through. So sometimes you're going to get stuck and nothing's going to happen. And the goal here for me, like when it comes to receiving a message, the message is going to be in the experience. So let's say the message is I love the beach. But now we're not going to hear Nikola Tesla say I love the beach. We're just going to be at a beach and experience it. And we're going to feel present in it. So we're present with his words through the experience of the space. But you may actually hear some words too, because Claire, audience, right, to hear what they're saying, like for me, when it comes to hearing what they're saying, it's like very short snippets and I can't always get the full sentence. And the only way for me to get the rest of the sentence is for me to get my head out of the way and then do a journey into it. And then that helps me to understand what they're trying to say, because something happens there between them saying something and then me not being able to get the whole message. But I also sometimes, like, when I have experiences where I sense the spirit realm and I sense, like, they could tell me anything under the sun. I mean, they could tell me I'm a real jerk, you're the crappiest person on the planet. They could tell me that and I can hear it in my head. And I know it's not like myself, it's like some jerk telling it to me. So do I want to hear that? Like, do I care what you have to say? So I want to know though, legit, like, because if something wants to call me a jerk, like I want to go into the journey state and understand, is he saying that I'm a jerk or is he saying I need your help? So is my guide saying, Abby, do this, or are my guides actually saying we love you? And so I can't really know for sure what they're saying until I go into a journey state and experience their words in this space around me. And that's when we get a full-fledged knowing and a personal knowing of what of that exchange is the best way I can put it. So right now, just talking about it, it's getting you basically the basic building blocks. But once you're in the journey state, it's going to be, we're going to work through this. It's going to make more sense.
Yeah.
You're going to do great.
And I don't want to focus on the negatives, but you know, one thing I'm looking forward to is to be able to discern. I just haven't been able to do that since I remember. You know, I think at a very young age, for whatever reason, my heart was closed, and I don't recognize an open heart. You know, I'll cry and stuff like that, but I don't feel my heart has been opened, or at least hasn't been a connection yet. And I think maybe that has to do with my inability to discern. You know, I don't know.
Interesting.
So if somebody says, like, you're a jerk, like, it's really hard for me to feel into the validity of something.
How fascinating. I wish I had, I think that's a superpower on some level, because I'm affected.
Yeah, no, like, I'm very, no, like, I'm not,
yeah,
I don't seem to be fazed by much.
I see. Interesting. No wonder that video then, like, it reached you and it created, you were fazed by it, man. You were affected. Interesting. All right. You ready to give this a try? Yeah. I'm going to do a healing for you, and we're going to learn some stuff just from my point of view. And then you're going to start with something. Okay. And then just describe what you see and experience is what you're going to do. Okay. As best you know how. And if nothing's happening, just let me know. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. Since Nikola Tesla is a really big part of this, I want to work with you, Nikola Tesla, with Eric, and I'm going to do some energy work for him. We want to understand, he's hearing different voices in his head. We want to understand that. We want to work on his heart energy and anything that we don't know that's worth knowing about. We would love to have access to that too. So let's see. So this is where the doors just open and I just see. And this is what I'm shown. Major impact actually in the back of my head right now. And it wants to activate my crown and it wants to go into my third eye, but it just kind of like a buildup in there. And so there's just this like energy density here on the front side. It's so fascinating. So actually, when I see you in a really big place, and it's kind of a dark underground space. And you have your chakras are actually like buttons that you wear on your body. And like I could push these buttons and they represent chakras, but then there's this like dense energy and it's kind of like a blackish color. It's thick. But the backside of you is open. And this is really different. Like, wow, energetically, you're really open on the backside of yourself. So you're kind of in the scene, you have your hands are kind of with joysticks and you're kind of pushing buttons and it's like a big screen in front. And I'm not really, it's almost like this massive old school, like Atari game. And because it kind of reminds me of like going in and seeing like an arcade or something. Kind of reminds me of an arcade game, but it's like huge. All right, let me see what comes next here. So Nikola Tesla is showing me that this is a big, it's like a big, this big space has to get broken down. Oh, as I talk about this, there's a lot of energy shifting and it has to do with the crown and the third eye. It also impacts my throat and my heart and it is just impacting my breath. So that's the I'm transmuting this. That's what that is. And I have to understand, why is this big, like what is this big structure? Then you're inside of a cave space, but the cave space is like its own living substance that has to get broken down too. One thing that I like about him is he's got a really positive energy, he's got another bright idea, and he raises his fingers like, I know what to do. And outside of this big shell, which is actually a cave space, which is like a planet, it's almost like a giant asteroid that's like a planet, and then you're inside of it and it looks like a cave, but then there's this energy buildup on the front. So he's like wanting to break this down, and on the outside is there's all this light everywhere. And okay, he's talking about that working with light, working with energy, it's like has practical uses for our physical world. Like we can light up our houses. There's practical uses for this. You can think of a million and one things. But it's interesting when you choose to see this energy on not on a practical human side, but on like an energy spiritual side. There's also practical uses there too. And so he's showing me, and it's hard to really interpret other than some tool, some device, some idea that he's placing here in order to break down the structure, in order to manifest light at the same time, because the action of breaking down creates energy, which then creates light. And so he's going to use the action of breaking down in order to create light for you. And this is so much energy jam here for the heart and the throat and the third eye and the crown. And I would love to see more about the back chakras, but it's showing me to look at these right now. Okay, so this is just a crust. It's like breaking a crust off, but under the surface of this crust, which now we're open to light, is this, there's another, it's like, I mean, it's hard as a rock, but it's completely clear. Like we can see through it, that it's just another containment that you're inside of. And it's like a bulletproof glass. Okay. He says we're going to just pause for a minute because there's a gravity that is pulling us towards this mass of what can only be described as a sun, but it doesn't say that it's actually a sun. It's not, it's just light. And what's interesting is he's echoing back to me that there's more here going on, where I could say that I'm looking at all your chakras inside the structure. Really, this structure is completely related to your head energy. And so there's just a lot of layers going on here. So we're going to see this bulletproof glass, so you're in this big orb. It has nothing around it anymore. It's just an orb. Doesn't look like you're inside of a cave, but it's still dark on the inside, where you've got these joysticks and you're just focusing on this game, and all this energy still in the front. And I still see the buttons of your chakras inside of here. Also, so you're inside of this containment, and it's about your head. Like, wow, this is incredible. It's incredible how we create our energy balance. Like, it just blows my mind. Like, everybody has their own thing going on. All right. So, okay, so let me, how am I going to put this? The sound of your heart, the child within you is saying, I want to be free of this, and I'm ready to be free of this now. The inconceivable reality is to know what life is like without the shell. And then in order to know what life was like without the shell, we have to break it down. But how will you be able to interpret that it isn't there anymore? Practice. And so now, because your heart is saying, I don't want this anymore. I want to be free to receive, to breathe like in and out, receive energy, receive love, receive light, but I want it to be genuine. I want to truly know who I am. I want to truly connect with something of meaning and value. This is, we're still working on breaking this down, but because the choice is already loud in your heart, you saying it is already creating it, is already manifesting the change. And the next thing is understanding that the change is there. It takes practice and time. I tell Nikola Tesla, why does it feel like we're forever away still from this light that we're gravitating towards? Okay. This is an interesting thing. We're going to change our framework of what distance actually is. And since we're going to change our framework that there could be miles of distance or light years of distance, we're going to remove that because we're going to say there's no such thing as distance. So we are everywhere that we want to be. And so the next thing is for this inner child voice within your heart to know that it's safe to say, I want to be in this light that Nikola Tesla is sharing with me, and to know what this means, what this is. Okay, my guides are telling me that we're going to let this scene continue to do its thing because there's the removal of distance, but there's the acclamation to knowing that you're already in the light. As that's happening, I'm called to go look at what is the voices that you're hearing in your head. So that's still happening. And it's just you absorbing more and more light, you absorbing it in, like soaking it up like a sponge, and knowing it's, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but I've had 3 kids and I had an epidural for 2 of those. And one thing they tell you is you can't feel yourself breathing. So you have to know that you're actually breathing, because I started to have panic attacks because I couldn't tell I was breathing. And so they give you oxygen and they tell you that you're breathing and you're breathing just fine. And it's really freaky. And so it's like you are receiving this light and you're receiving this light just fine. Even if you're not aware or sure of it, it's happening. Like it really is happening. So there's an acclamation going on there to you, like the sponge absorbing the light and knowing that this is real with Nikola Tesla, because there's still a lot of barrier that doesn't exist, but only because we remember it having existed. It only exists because you literally do remember this. So we just let that do its thing, time and absorption. Okay, let's figure out this voices in the head stuff. Oh, this is complicated. I'm going to actually shut off the sound of all of those for starters, so there aren't any voices. So we'll start with nothing. That's better already. And there's odd like bumps and lumps, and I just see you and you're sitting at a table in a dark kind of room. I don't know where the light's really coming from, but there's some vague essence of light. There's just some miscellaneous faces, but I feel like I would rather we start with no faces and no sounds, because vibrationally, it says that there's something more meaningful when we turn this off. And then we figure out what we're supposed to do next. So, and I just do that. And I've got to disconnect you from this dark energy space. You know what I love about this? So I already am disconnecting you from this dark energy space. I didn't expect that to be so easy. So trying to figure out how I was going to do it, but it just started to fall off all by itself. And Nikola Tesla's like his fingers up, like, yes, the light is absorbing, like that's why we have this going on. And so it's already falling off. And there's no doubt about it, you actually are very receptive to receiving messages from other beings, because now that we're breaking off from this and we just chose to have nothing for a time, like you're entering into a totally new scene, totally new vibrational meaning and the way things feel. Okay, my guides want me, basically what the space looks like is it's a matte finish. It's kind of like a light purple with dark blue spots, like a painted room, but there's no real walls. It's just kind of an energy space, and it looks like this, and there's no gravity here, so you're just kind of like slowly twirling kind of thing. So my guides are asking me to now we're going to go one-on-one. So I'm going to just go into this version of yourself and just be this you for a little bit. It's cold, it's lifeless, lonely. I feel like, let's just say a planet blew up and I'm just a part of that planet, and all my brother and sister pieces of the planet, or the oneness that we once had, is all gone. And I'm just this drifting piece of the planet, and I've been drifting for a million years in outer space, and I'm all alone, and it's cold, and I don't know what my purpose is anymore. It feels so cold. And I take this piece of you, and it's ridiculously heavy. I didn't expect that. It's like kind of like being underwater. Like you can lift heavier things underwater kind of thing. Like I expected in space, I could just be able to like stop this from moving, pick it up, like it's just weightless. But no, it doesn't. It behaves as though it is the weight of a planet. And so I pause time. And in time, then I can change this meaning. I'm supposed to show you that when you tell you this, that when you're in a journey state, you allow things to flow, but you also can impact, like you can ask questions in there too and see how things change. So vibrationally, I'm seeing this is a part of you related to you. It's like, it's just a chunk floating in space, but I know in my heart that I need to do something about this. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what this means. I just know I'm supposed to do something. And so when I feel what it's like to be this chunk, I know I'm supposed to stop it from movement. So how am I going to do that? I have to override the idea that I have no control. So I have all the control. So when I stop time, like I slowly figure out how to stop it, and I stop time, and then it's just paused completely. And I know what to do here next. I'm looking at the shape as kind of like a triangle shape. And the point is pointing up. It's funny because where's up in space, but it represents like due north, or like going up into the sky. It's pointing up. And it is like a chunk of a planet. It also represents a moth. And the moth is like a petrified moth. It's like just a piece of old, like it's a moth that looks like a piece of rock. And I'm breaking you out of being not petrified. You're not petrified. And I'm giving you animation. I'm giving you the ability to be animated, giving you the ability to decide your own path and your own fate and where you want to go next. As this piece of rock, you are not rock anymore, and you're not petrified. But I like seeing you as this moth, actually. And the moth, I'm giving it the ability to have wings like that can move and fly, and that it can find a path in the universe. It's interesting because I'm a big Adventure Time fan, and you'll see there's like an episode with a big moth that's like this intergalactic moth that just appears in outer space. It's like this living random thing. And you're like, remind me of this like random moth that can fly in outer space, and you are doing it. But one thing is you want someone to help you know where to go and what to do next. You want kind of like this answer on what your purpose is or what your calling is. And it's interesting because I can tell as I look at you, the moth flying, that you actually know what it is. So you have to get out of the way to let yourself tell you what that path is. And it's interesting because Nikola Tesla is with you as you absorb more light. You give yourself permission to own more of a knowing, like you know more than you're allowing yourself to admit it. And that way you can finally be aware of what that is. I'm still going to keep breaking some stuff down because we're really working through some layers here. And I want to find a way to amplify that as much as possible. Okay, so I'm to watch the moth for a bit. And you're just a gray basic moth. Like you're not, don't have these like extraordinarily colorful wings. You're just this basic moth, but you got a really plump body and like you seem like you're strong and you're agile. Like this moth is got that can go the distance. Sometimes those big pretty moths, people can see those and admire them, but I feel like there's something that they're attracting a lot of attention where you just kind of blend in. Even a moth in outer space, somehow you just blend in. I don't know. And something, it feels good about that. Something feels, I don't know why camouflage would be good, but it's something feels like you blend in. And there's something good about that. I'm just watching you. I know why, because then it's not about attracting attention or getting approval or no approval at all. It's just about finding your way. And there's something refreshing about finding your way that doesn't have to do with anybody else but you. It's just you finding your way. And so it's nice. Gives you some sense of independence. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the scene with Nikola Tesla and all this light. Oh man, you're starting to just let this happen. And there's not much left of that previous space. And the light is a doorway, and there's no distance between you and this door. It's knowing that, man, the language of like that you're ready, or that that's kind of like time, and time is like distance. So let's say there's no time, and that you're already through the door then, or you're already wherever you want to be in your life and in the universe. Something of this is reminding you, your soul is really familiar with this, is like reminding you that you are already everywhere you want to be. I don't know why when I say that, your soul's nodding like, that's right, I remember I am everywhere I want to be, and that I have the power to be anywhere I want to be. It's like you're starting to remember this, and it's a big deal. I see another scene where your soul's frozen in ice, and it's like been frozen in this, I don't know where this is, for a very long time. And it's been meant to be, like it was meant to be frozen in ice. It was the best thing that could ever happen. It was frozen in ice, one of those scenarios. And it's so cold, like it burns, it's really painful. And my soul's like touching this ice to try to warm it, and I can't, like it burns me. And I know that there's a divine time when this will all just be complete. And okay, Nikola Tesla's, there's a door, bam, appears. And he's just walking through this super frigid place. And he's saying that every action is energy. Like every step that he walks, he's actually generating light. And so he's generating warmth, generating light, generating warmth with every step that he takes. And he's using that to his advantage to reach you in this icy place. I was like, oh, that is so cool. I love that. He's funny. He's like, yep. Like, yeah, he's just like this simple, nice guy. Like he's kind of emanating this, like he's not trying to shove his ideas down people's throats. He's not, I'm Mr. the best ever. Like he's just a really great guy, really nice person. And he says to me silently, but he says to you that again, it comes to the heart of your inner child is speaking, that I don't need the ice anymore, and I don't need to be frozen in this, that I'm done with this now. Because it's almost like it was called to be, for you to be in this space. So if it was called to be by something other than yourself, then how would you be able to call for you to be complete with it? It's almost like you had to be in this space to think that you would be trapped here forever, but then a divine time would come when you would believe it, and you would live in that state for a long time until you finally decided that you were going to try again to say, I am complete here, and that it would work this time. So weird. It wouldn't work millions of times before until you just believed that it was now forever. And then once you lived in forever for a time, then if you had the inspiration to try it again, to say, I'm ready now to leave this place, you would be able to. It's like that was the weird trick or the riddle to the doorway of you being set free from this ice. And now that you've said it from in your heart, Nikola Tesla is able to break this down. It's almost like he has some kind of weird box, and it's got, I don't know, he's putting, I don't know what these are, but he's just putting these, it's like plugs, I guess, into the ice, and then he's switching this box on, and it just makes a sound, and it's starting to basically melt the ice from within itself and then crack it, and it just breaks around you, and you're completely out of it. Oh, you're numb, you're unable to feel, he picks you up and he takes you out of this place, and then he sets you in the sunlight, this bright light that we're in. And you see yourself, this other part, it's like, there you are, there's the door, there's Nikola Tesla, there's the light, there you are. And now you have another part of you that was just in this icy place. Now he's standing here, you're seeing into each other. You're starting to gain yourself back, because you instantly remember, you instantly recognize him, and you instantly say, oh my God. I feel, Eric, that everything about who you are is actually perfect, that everything that you went through in your life was all the right keys to all the right doors. And where you may say that caused so much lack and I'm not able to get out of it or not able to change things, was actually correct. It needed to be that way. Why? There's mystery. I don't know why. But there's no doubt about it that you're already reclaiming, you're already melting, you're already starting to feel again, you're already starting to open up. It's already happening that you're setting yourself free from this, because there's a divine time. You wouldn't have been able to yesterday, let's say, but you can now. I mean, it's just so weird. Like, what's the difference between yesterday and today? I don't know, but something is different. So here you are with yourself. And something feels a little bit more self-aware. That feels a lot better, my God. And I see the two of you are like twins and you merge together instantly. And I think you should definitely own it, that you are familiar with a scientist, a certain type of scientist within yourself. I think you should own that, Eric, because there's no doubt about it. There is something there that you know something. Okay, what do you know? I don't know what it is. I don't know how to define it. I think a science is a really good way to define it. Like for me, I really love figuring out, like knowing what it's like to be human and trying different things that work or don't work and facing my fears and trying to figure out why I was afraid of that in the first place, trying to understand things. So I'm really into what is it, this human psychology and human emotion and what creates this human being, you know, that's just really fascinating to me. And there's definitely, like, you don't have to know anything about science to be fascinated by science and to actually be able to teach something to scientists as somebody who has no scientific background. Because if you're working with yourself and the spirit of who you are, it will just come out. It's just going to come out, especially if that's your calling. And if you're working with energy and you're working with interpreting things in a different way, not just using your head and thinking through it, but actually getting out of your head and working through some other way of learning, you'd be amazed at the things that'll come to you. You don't even think of it that way. And oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, already, my God, you've broken down so much. You feel so different energetically, because I'm starting to get, it's impacting my breath, because there's a lot of energetic movement from the front and to the back, and it's starting to balance out the back and the front energies. So you start to feel balanced with yourself so much better. And we're just going to choose to say all your chakras are open. The front, the back, above, below, within, they're all open. And I'm like visualizing, I'm seeing, I'm sensing, I'm feeling, I'm perceiving. There you are. And all your chakras are just like these incredible infinite universes with this like master eye of all seeing of within itself, within its special purpose. And so we're just opening the eyes of your chakras, and they're all open and they're all beautiful and they're all amazing. And we just let that happen and let you feel it and let you be in oneness with that. Front and back, above, below, within, in all sacred directions. And now you are like a galactic being, man. I see you as a cosmic being. Like there you are in the universe. And it's not because like it's an ego-based thing. It's just a presence. You're like present with yourself as this like cosmic being in the universe. And you can be human. And you can be a cosmic being. And you can be on Earth, and you can be in the universe. And you can be. So let's see, this moth is now like attracted to the light. It's funny. I was just like, why wouldn't I have thought of moths being attracted to the light? And I was attracted to the light of yourself. And I see it finds itself in this reflections of you, the human, and uses cosmic being. And it just finds itself, it's just like a spirit of life that was trying to find its way back home, which was just finding its way back home to the light of itself. So you are finding your way home to yourself. And it is all about your heart and your inner child, and it's happening. Man, that was incredible. I need a minute here to breathe in. That's what I'm called to share for you, Eric. How are you feeling, by the way?
Good.
Good. You know what time it is, right? It's your turn. So this is the part where we're gonna freestyle it, and you get to, your intention is there. And now, why don't you work with something? Go ahead.
Before we transition. Is it appropriate to ask what my calling is?
Okay, let me just go into your journey and just see. Like, it never hurts to try. Sometimes they can tell me, and sometimes it's mysterious. Okay, here you are, the cosmic being. The moth that is attracted to the light of your heart is now a part of your heart. There you are, the human being, and you're as one with yourself. Okay, so what's Eric's purpose? When I say that, there's this like, there's this awful jerk, okay? And basically he's just like, he makes all these like annoying sounds. And then he just rips that, like the universe, like it was just a piece of paper, he rips it and then he just throws it away. And I know that what this is representing is, it's something. Is it a part of you? Is it a part of somewhere else? I don't know. It doesn't want you to be free to be who you are. So let me just keep watching this for a minute. It's like, okay, it's kind of like it's a caveman looking thing. It's got really skinny, long arms and legs. It's bone-like. It's got a ridiculously long beard. It's dirty. It doesn't wear much clothing, kind of wears animal skins. And it's scribbling, like its noise is like a scribbling noise. And it tries to be bigger than anything you'll ever be. And so this has to be reduced. But I need to go into the heart of this, because simply this could be a part of yourself that we need to heal this and bring it back to you. So it could just be that the answer to your purpose is to start finding yourself. And once you do that, then we'll know what the next step is. But I just want to work on this here for a minute, because this is just yet another thing revealing itself that we can heal it. Oh man, inside the heart of this, there is a really big open room, and there's lots of strange, like black shadowy beings in this. And it's just there's probably 100 chairs in here. And then there's kind of like a stage, like somebody could go and speak, a speaker for these. And it's kind of a weird off green color with black shadow. And there's this, we're just sort of levitating above here, you and I, and we're just looking into this. And I say, what attracted you to have some connection with, what was this caveman guy? What is this? What does this have to do with your purpose? You kind of look at me and you don't have any eyes. They're just black holes. And you say that, how would I explain what has to do with, you want, it's like, you know that you will always be in the place that you are meant to be. So why is it that you are meant to be here? And it didn't, you tell me that it didn't appear as though that you necessarily wanted to be here. You just appeared here. This connection with this place through this caveman that's connection with you. Like everything is this connected string of sorts. And you tell me that you're starting to remember what you're supposed to do. And you tell me that even though your eyes are black holes, you say that you're feeling and seeing with your heart. And you say that you know why this place is important because there's another part of yourself in here. And that right now you need to start collecting yourself, which is like yourselves, to become more the whole version of you. Because you've been working with cut off with from lots of parts of you, and you've been working with like a reduced version of yourself. For some reason, vibrationally, it would make you basically not much sound coming from you. So the more parts of yourself you collect, the louder you're going to get. So you're not just the camouflaged moth, you're like a moth that is now seen and people now see you. So what is it your purpose is? Because it seems to me that the more that you open up and the more you heal of yourself, the more you regain of yourself, you're going to start to be more seen. So you have purpose of being present in the world where people know who you are. Like people know who I am. Some people don't know who I am, but I'm more of a moth that has some color than maybe if I wasn't doing YouTube. I'd be more of a gray moth or something. And so you're meant to kind of come out of the woodwork. So it's a mystery still what you're supposed to do out of the woodwork. But for starters, we're still collecting you. And you say that you see that one of you is like, it's not like a piece of bubble gum under the chair, but it is, because I see it kind of attached to under one of these chairs in this weird, I don't know, it's this is convention or something of dark souls. So we just pull you off and you suck that part of yourself back in instantaneously, and it gives you eyeballs that see, and you smile and you're like, yes, I'm becoming myself again. And you say, yeah, it's not very important, whatever that, I don't know, like dark ceremony or something, going through the heart of the caveman. And the caveman is basically attached to that. And the caveman represents is getting skinny. It's starving to death. It doesn't have much power. Like it's losing its power. It's becoming bones. So it's actually dying. And it doesn't, it's what it's still trying to do is prevent what your mysterious self is. It wants to keep you numb and cold and withdrawn. And I don't have an imagination. It wants to keep you like that. But you don't want to keep yourself like that. It doesn't work for you. And there's a divine time that says, yep, you don't have to be like that anymore. I don't know what's different today than yesterday, but something about today says, yep, you don't need to be that anymore. And now that caveman will just send that caveman away with the other rest of the stuff because it has its own divine plan. And it will turn to dust like everything else and be reborn as something else when it's its time. But it has nothing to do with you anymore. And now you just regained yet another part of yourself. And you're starting to feel strong and whole, to be honest. And vibrationally, what comes to me is it's quite like an inertia, like as you start to regain yourself, you're starving for more of yourself to come back. And there's a really strong person in there. Like there's a really strong person in there because I see that you, as you starve for the next parts of yourself to return, you're just like so ready to be you again. You're so ready to be you. And you're like this giant, you're like a giant thing. Like you're very strong. I mean, you're meant to represent something that's like a mountain. You're very strong and sturdy, have a strong sense of self. I think everything that you've been through in your life is exactly how you've needed to be, because you carry that as now your talent and not your your lack or something. You're going to use that to your advantage, but you're going to be growing quite substantially. I mean, I would totally, I mean, you're like the tank that was on empty that is now getting the gas, and it's going to feel like, yeah, this is going to feel really good, like rock and roll, man. Like I'm ready to drive the open road at like as fast as I can go. It's going to be transitioning from ice cold, numb, to I'm on fire and I'm ready for more. Okay. That's literally what it's like for me. So I would say that your purpose is to keep doing what you're doing, discovering who you are and bringing more of yourself in, which is light, which is energy, which is exactly what Nikola Tesla represents. So yeah, that's what comes to me. I feel like when you get in that journey state, something's going to click to the next level. I think it's going to make even more sense. You ready to give this a try? Did you have any other questions though?
I could always have a question.
Sure.
I never stop. I guess on the journey, I'm going in with the doubt. I'm not going to be able to visualize myself in that particular scene.
Yeah.
Or maybe as we do this, you guys maybe help guide me in that.
Yes, absolutely. So you get to do the talking now. And tell me what you see, what details you're attracted to. And if it's just not moving, if things aren't flowing, or maybe you don't see anything, just let me know. And we will work together to get things moving and get you into the flow of this. You're going to do good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So what are you experiencing so far? Anything?
I'm just building my cave. That's my scene.
I see. Well, tell me, I want to be a part of your vision, man. I'm like waiting. I feel like, oh man, something's happening here. It's getting tense in my heart and my throat.
And you have to guide me on how to do this and how much you want me to vocalize.
Oh yeah, vocalize as much as you experience, like
Okay.
talk to me.
So, yeah, something that'd be great because you can help guide me. I didn't want to force any type of scene, so I thought, just kind of let something come to me, and a cave came to me. Haven't spent much time in caves, but it seems like a safe place to be. Not much interference and comfortable. Anytime I want, I could, leave the cave, either opening my eyes or, getting to experience more of the cave on my journey out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking how the cave is, this cave is warm, not too warm, but it's, comfortable. And the cave has a scenery or view of my own imagination. So the cave is never the same. Kind of like no sunset's the same. The cave is never the same either, because it's full of imagination and wonder. And I kind of set up a room in this cave where I have everything I need. So there's a bed if I want to lay down, or there's a comfortable chair made of rock, that then chisel or whatever, where I can sit comfortably there. There's even food for me to eat if I want to eat. So, very comfortable, and it's a good place to be. It can be lonely. It is lonely. And for that reason, I often want to escape the cave, but I feel that this is where healing can take place without distraction. What am I supposed to do now?
All right. My God, I'm so moved by this. You have no idea. So you've described this incredible cave space and you define it as lonely. Do you want to bring Nikola Tesla into your lonely cave, or do you feel like you want to challenge yourself to leave this cave and experience a new space?
I would like to feel love in the void. I like to feel companionship or love in a state of loneliness.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Nikola Tesla is the best person, or, maybe Jesus, or I don't know.
Amazing. He's definitely somebody who's not going to judge. I would say let's let him. What I do when I have people see another spirit is I just have you like experience. There's like, okay, Nikola Tesla. It doesn't matter if it looks like Nikola Tesla, if it's just like a globulous form of light. And now experience that form of light is here in your living room, and now you can sit down, and now it's not lonely anymore. And but just experience what comes next, like just see what comes next.
So are you saying to stay in the cave or not?
I think I kind of like the idea of bringing Nikola Tesla after you describe that. I feel like seeing his light there with you in the cave might actually be interesting.
Okay, cool. So how do I do that?
Okay, so you've got everything in its place, right? Use your cave experience. Now add the experience of Nikola Tesla, just simply like maybe a little starlight or just an energy being. Like you just feel the presence. You could even be Nikola Tesla name tag is just on the couch. Like what we're doing is we're adding the ingredient of Nikola Tesla, but we're going to allow his energy and his meaning to expand and introduce us more to himself. So when you add an ingredient, now just let whatever comes next, okay?
Well, first of all, I'd like to invite Sir Nikola Tesla to my dream or my cave. and look forward to learning and growing from you and together. The only thing that's coming to me is like a question of what is light.
Mm.
I think you kind of touched on it. Something that's kind of been on my mind for a while is a black hole. You know, is it a form of energy or light? Or is the emptiness of a cave in which light can't penetrate? I mean, is there light inside a cave? So wouldn't it be natural that kind of the master of energy, you know, somebody understands it really well, that he would be present in the darkness in the form of light? So in essence, I'm surrounded all by, you know, I'm surrounded, I'm engulfed by that energy. He's everywhere, nowhere. It's the breath I breathe. It's there on my skin. It's the rock under my body. And it's the doubt that I want to clear. I would ask Nikola Tesla to please make your presence more known. Is it the ringing of my ears? Is it what is it that I'm supposed to be? Where should my attention be? I trust that you're here with me. But son like Sir Nikola Tesla, you know, it's such an honor. You know, it'd be a big deal.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like that takes a certain level of worthiness to be able to experience that.
Mm.
I find that I'm struggling with that I'm not worthy of, or I don't know if worthy is the right word, but I just, you know, just have a lot of doubt right now.
It's interesting you're talking about the gap and what might create that. Maybe the word would define it as maybe I'm not worthy. So he's already guiding you to interpreting what you need to do to know he's already there. So now the challenge is, how do you just say I am worthy and you are here? May have to break down some of these energy blocks, but that's fun. It's fun to do that. I love the conversation about the cave and light, and if there is no light, can't that be light too, like the dark? What is it? And my God, these are incredibly deep reflections. No wonder that connection with Nikola Tesla, that's someone you can talk to about these things. So I find like if we wanted to get his interpretation on something, we may have like, okay, so we're bringing him into this, what we're working on, your cave, loneliness, worthiness, all that stuff. What if we let all that stuff go for a while? Like we just toss it out the window and say, I'm worthy and I'm going to be now a representation of worthiness. And now show me something about light and dark, Nikola Tesla. I'd really love to know more about that. And you're totally worthy. And then just see what appears in your mind, and then just describe random images, whatever comes to your mind that you didn't put it there, it just appeared there. And let's see if we can get to the next level of conversation.
I work so hard to clear the mind of all thought. Be thoughtless and then ask to imagine something. And I feel like that would be forcing something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to receive. I don't want to, you know, when it comes to energy, one thing that, you know, is important for me, or what I'm trying to embody, I guess, experience, is that energy could only flow, at least in the traditional sense, can only flow in one direction. So it's either like if two people are talking over each other, there's there's no transmission taking place, and that's why, you know, one person talks, receive. It's just this teeter-totter. And you know, I think that's what the alternating current is that he invented. It's just, you know, it's alternating energy, also alternating current. You know, to put a thought in my head would be the opposite of, I think, what would be productive. I'm in a position of receiving.
Yes. Okay, so this is really good. All right, so you and Nikola Tesla are one already. And the mind is trying to tell you that it's a telephone call, so he will have to talk to you and then vice versa. But he already is a part of you. And so anything that comes to you was inspired by him. But how would you know if it was inspired by him or inspired by yourself? How would you know for sure? You wouldn't. That's where you have to break down holding on to, was it me or was it something else? Then you just allow things to appear. It's like, I can't conceive of the vision with 8 billion grains of sand in order to create a beach, and all the particles of water in order to create the image of water. I'm not God. So I just allow things to appear, and I just let it appear however it wants to, and I don't judge the way that it appears. And so if you were to allow yourself to just let something appear and then let that guide you, you have to be guided by something so silent and uncertain that it could very well be yourself. But only then, as you work through it, do you start to receive things that it's like, wow, I didn't see it that way, or I wasn't aware of it like that. And see if you can just be a oneness, like, you know that Nikola Tesla is a part of you, and then just allow something to appear. And it's going to feel like you made it up, but it's like, I can't create all that sand, and my beach might be white sand and your beach might be brown and someone else's be yellow. And what creates the difference? I don't know. It's just the inspiration. And through the inspiration, then we move. And I'd like to see what comes next.
I'm not able to visualize I think that's just kind of the void of darkness. So I'm trying to be sensitive and mindful of the sensations of my body. And throughout this conversation with you today, certain emotion to trigger. I don't know if you noticed, eyes are closed, but I've cried multiple times and don't know what's kind of originating those emotions. So I do a body scan, my heart feels warm. So there's some warmth in this cave, I guess. And I tell myself, well, I have an empty heart. Well, what is there to be warm inside an empty heart? And that's not triggering emotions within me, kind of generating from my throat area. I guess the answer is, Tesla is full. He's in a heightened state. So maybe that's what I'm feeling. Maybe I'm feeling the love or the warmth or the light of Sir Tesla. A warm little small candle in my heart, my chest area, to help light this cave. And I can start to see the candle, yellowish orange in color. Although it's in front of me. And it's just a flame, not attached to anything. It's not attached to a candle, it's just a flame. But it's not in the form of fire, it's just light. It's not moving, it's more static than, flowing. I would really like any assistance that could be provided in helping me connect to myself and to spirit. I'm prepared to take down all walls, all boundaries, all preconceived thoughts. I surrender. It's so frustrating. It always be so hard.
This is really good, man. When I told you about you and Nikola Tesla are one, you came forward with this most beautiful image of the candle and the flame. He's helping you break these walls down. You know what that reminded me of is when you're in the astral plane, for instance, or you're in dark places, you yourself are the light in those dark places. He's showing you this. Maybe our minds are interpreting Nikola Tesla as, the scientific man who understands energy. And maybe he wants to be maybe an emotional man who understands your feelings. And maybe we need to give him room to guide you in a different way that we didn't anticipate. I would really like if you could go back, Eric, to the image of the flame in your heart and know that everything is broken down that needs to be broke down, and just keep tuning in because your emotions are coming out because it's time. This is a good thing. This is a really, really good thing. So as the emotions come out, that is the walls breaking down, And I feel the presence of him is here as this super benevolent, loving friend. But even for me, he's quite silent. And it's the mystery, we can't try to judge even the way that we think he should be might not be the way he wants to be. In order to be a part of your life, he wants to be something maybe as a friend for right now to help you open up your heart. And I think it would be great if you would go back to that candle, that flame, and just know that's part of his communication. even though it feels like yours, and just see what the flame has to share, or what it says or does next. Maybe it's guiding you to feel other chakras. Maybe it's guiding you to be even more present with yourself. We don't know. So if you would try, I would really like to know what comes next.
The first thing that came to mind when I saw the flame was first of all a little frustration that, was external from me, separate from me. And then also thought of the chakras, the kind of those base chakras, the color of it. I guess the base chakras is about security, safety, that warmth, that stability, that, tribal family connection. I do feel, at least my experience, it feels like an experience I interpret it. I really do feel one with Tesla, and I'm not explaining it, but it's like, I'd imagine that, it's maybe, well, I'm not in the body to maybe experience the frustrations or emotions, but if you were, to assume that there'd probably be equal frustration on his end, not being able to connect with a friend. I believe his work is important for him, to his legacy. And I'm prepared to help and assist in that. I look forward to it. So I go back to the colors and looks like a sun. Looks like a sun. The candle. I don't know if it's like a sun, just as it's like the sunrise or sunset. It's kind of drifting between, that yellow and orange. Or it can even be a moon. Maybe more like a moon where it's not like, whatever, it's just a reflection of light or a light. That is available in this cave. I'm going back to like the sun, like the sun, what does the sun represent? Which is like the Son of God. And I have a lot of anger, I believe, towards Jesus. And I feel I have good reasons to be angry with him. And, I guess, Jesus is apparently perfect, so there's nothing easy to forgive him for, but I'm still angry. Yet, it's his energy or his consciousness that I'll find my worthiness. I'll be forgiven. I'll, experience my totality. So I guess it's me that needs to be asked for forgiveness. You try to focus on this light, it's just not functioning very well today. I notice my air's ringing, which is odd. Like the bottom of a cave, what is there to be ringing? I think there's no static, no interference. Yeah. My ears are playing the song. They're ringing. The air is surprisingly fresh. I think a cave would be damp and still, but the air's fresh and chill. I'm just feeling really inadequate. I don't know.
Okay. Man, you are amazing. This is what you're talking about. These concepts are so deep. Relationship with Jesus. I mean, this stuff is so deep and incredible. It shows what a deep human being you are. Now, why don't you allow yourself to be bright? Like, you don't need permission from God or Jesus or Nikola Tesla, and you don't need their help. You just need to do it for yourself now. Now, I love the fact that your hair is not, you're acknowledging there's an odd detail. And why is it like that? That is a legit journey state scenario. Like, I didn't make my hair like that. And why am I even noticing my hair like that? And I'm in a cave. This doesn't make any sense. So where's that coming from? You didn't put it there. It just appeared there. So we're already on the right track. You're already breaking down walls. It's happening. You're doing an amazing job. All right. So I want you to just be the power in your own life. And this scene, the next step, let's go there with it, is let's just, you now are blazing sun in the cave, because you can have your time in the cave will teach you things, but you can have your time outside the cave too, or you can be light for the cave. But what's in this cave? I want to know what's hiding in this cave. You're hiding in this cave. Like, I want to know more about what's here so we can find out what's here. This anomaly with the hair is saying something. There's more here than we know. So I want you to try that, Eric. I want you to see if you can be just full of light now and just see what comes to you, okay? Try to touch something with your hand in the energy world. Like, try to see if you can feel the walls of the cave, or maybe you'll touch something that doesn't make sense why that would be there.
What were you saying about hair?
I thought I heard you were saying something about hair was standing out straight, and it didn't make sense because it's like electricity, and this should be a damp cave.
Oh, the air.
Oh, the air. Oh, I see. But that's an interesting detail. You can't deny you noticed something.
I think through motion, like how could you deny existence when in motion? All right, I'll just move my arms around. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm gonna move my arms.
You're doing awesome. Do you feel weird? Do you feel different?
I'm not the right person to ask that question.
I see.
Like I said, there's not that, there seems to be like, I don't want to say the words, but it's something that I struggled with.
I think you're doing an amazing job. I'm like so proud of you. You shared so much with my life today. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to make an impact in your life and to support you and connect with Nikola Tesla. Some things that I'm learning from your journey. So just about your style and just about the process of you connecting with Nikola Tesla. It even goes to show, even for me, when I've connected with him, I want to connect with some sort of vast intelligence, right? But when I connect with him, my experience is simple, and it's not necessarily about the vast intelligence I want to connect with. It's about building the vast intelligence by really understanding the basic building blocks of all creation. And when we understand that, we can come up with brilliant ideas from that. For us to see Nikola Tesla, maybe not as this extraordinary scientific man, but as just a creative human being, that wants to help get you back to the basic building blocks of who you are. Could be an emotional process, could be not what we expected, you know? And I love you're finding yourself in the cave, right? You're going through that and feeling your emotions. If you were to practice this in your own time, break just let the dam break, you know? I know here it may be a little bit nervous because I'm here watching you and stuff. It's okay. People cry, man. But when you let that dam break, just be a baby about it. Like cry like a baby, scream, go in the shower, get it out of your system. And it's a horrible, I've had the dam break many times, and it's like this thing we resist. Like I don't want to feel that emotional pain, you know, but it just comes out and it's like anguish. Like your relationship with Jesus, man, that I have legit sensations like that I've felt in my own life. And I've asked myself, well, where's that coming from? What does he represent that's making me struggle to understand the meaning of love, the meaning of forgiveness? I don't feel like you need forgiveness of anything. I feel like that concept when you were saying, maybe I need to ask for forgiveness, something inside of me said you didn't need to, that you were actually already there. You just need to break down these shells, get this emotion out, and keep working through these deep conversations, these deep reflections, these deep understandings about being human, and connecting and getting tuned into with you. As you do that, you grow out of this old structure and you get access to more, right? Because in the cave, you only have access to what you're allowing yourself to have access to with the cave. But it's okay to need that right now. And it's okay to work through that. And I'm trying to test to see, do we work with the cave now? Can we go beyond the cave? It's okay if the cave is what we need now. And then we find ourselves in there, it'll start to open up to more and more things. And it's what you're ready for. Because the amazing thing about doing journeys, you will only be able to access what you're actually ready for. But I'm telling you, the unexpected will come and you'll say, I wasn't ready for that. And that's when it's like, well, you broke the barrier, you opened the door to more, you were actually ready for that. Now you get to grow with that anomaly. And it's good. It's really good. So thank you for this. I really appreciated it. And you need to practice. I tell people, get the Easy Voice Recorder Pro app. Get the Voice Recorder Pro app on your phone. It's only a couple bucks. And then do exactly what you just did with me in your own time. You just close your eyes and say, Sir Nikola Tesla, I'm relentless, man. You're gonna have to put up with me. I'm relentless because I really like you. And he's like, yes, believe it or not, we think he might be like, like, why isn't he there yet? No, he's not like that at all. He has nothing but time here. And when there's a human being who is working so incredibly like you are, you have no idea what an honor that is. Like he is honored to be called by you to help. For him to help you is an honor for him. And he has nothing but time, and he's not judgmental at all. He is not that way at all. And so it gives you an opportunity to know it's safe to keep bringing him into your life, and it will get more abundant. It will get more clear. You just keep practicing it. It's also fun to test the waters and see what Albert Einstein's like, or what Mother Mary's like, or, you know, it's okay to bring others into this, and they will impact you in different ways. And then you'll be like, wow, that's the Nikola Tesla impact. Oh, that feels like Mother Mary, you know, and you'll start to introduce yourself to vibrations. Like, isn't Nikola Tesla, like, wouldn't he know about vibrations? You know, like, because souls, it's not like we call them these names, but they're actually a sensation of sound. So like Nikola Tesla has a very unique sound signature that his vibration is going to impact you in a unique way, different than Mother Mary's vibrations would impact you. And the more that we bring all of this energy into ourselves, the more that we're part of this harmonious symphony of soul energies. And they're all there to help you, all there to help you. I love how raw and honest and genuine you are. You couldn't be more raw and more genuine. Like, I loved, you didn't hold anything back. I loved your honesty. It was really refreshing. The one thing that I like to tell people with working with the spirit realm, be honest. Like, Jesus, I'm angry at you. I don't know why, but I'm angry at you. I'm angry at what you represent. You know, do I need to be forgiven? Like, I do. I have these conversations because the only way we can learn and grow as human beings is to ask the questions, is to be vulnerable, is to be genuine. Because if we're pretending, like, I'm going to pretend with Jesus that everything's fine and I'm just going to ask for forgiveness, it's not genuine. It's not real then. It's fake. So that fake energy is not going to get us anywhere. So you're really good at being genuinely who you are. And that's how you're going to grow.
We may walk through the steps then as I do this. So, you know, it could be laying down, sitting up. I assume it doesn't matter.
Right. I would say sitting up, because if I'm laying down, I'll fall asleep. And talking out loud to yourself, that's why the Easy Voice Recorder Pro. Just say that is me, okay? And I'm listening. So then you talk to Easy Voice Recorder Pro, you record yourself in the journey state. Sitting up, it keeps you, it's like an active meditation. So it keeps you from falling asleep. And so then, yep, what's your next question?
I think that's it. So then sit up and then just, you know, talking to the recorder.
Yeah.
And yeah, just try to
make an intention. So today I'm going to connect with Nikola Tesla. All right, I'm chilling out, sitting on my couch, eyes closed, recorder on. Okay, let's just see what comes. I feel like I would like to be in the cave again, or I feel like I would like to, you know, whatever what comes to you, you have your own knack. I mean, you're literally talking about things that are very engaging to listen to. And I really didn't want to interrupt you because I quite liked the things you were saying were really deep and meaningful to hear. And be sure to listen to yourself, like when you feel complete. And it's okay to be frustrated too, because that's part of the healing process. But when you feel complete, you know, just stop the recording. You can listen to it later and listen to yourself in this journey. And let your ego go crazy, because you'll be like, God, I sound like such a fool. Oh, what, like, yeah, like I'm going to connect with Nikola Tesla. Like that's your ego in the way. Okay. So you're going to judge yourself. And that's actually part of the healing process, because eventually the more times you expose yourself to yourself and say, screw you, ego, I'm not going to stop. You're going to have to put up with it. The more times you do that, it'll start to quiet down and you'll be hungry for more of this, and you'll start to give into it more. You just keep practicing. It's like it will create a life force of its own kind, that you will be tapped into the flow of that. You'll have good days, you'll have bad days, but that's all part of the flow and the healing process of opening up that much more to whatever comes next. You're going to surprise yourself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You got this. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I really appreciate it. A lot.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess that's goodbye, but I'm going to send you a link to this.